Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Post your stories about interacting with law enforcement with guns involved. Happy or sad endings. Be Texan. Go to church downtown in major city with overwhelming young adult demographic. 30.07 sign shows up next to entrance 1 week. No 30.06 sign, so concealed carry is still fine, I guess. Been concealed carrying for a long time on Sundays. Couple weeks later, having lunch with the pastor of the church to ask difficult questions about the doctrine of election. He and I had previously discussed being mutual Dennis Prager fans. Each of us are conservative. Feel comfortable asking about the 30.07 sign. Did someone walk in displaying their piece openly and frighten someone? Pastor Bro says no. It was a way to subtly let concealed handgun license holders know the church is cool with them carrying, but also extend an olive branch to those who would be uncomfortable or distracted by guns in the service. Tell him that I'm asking because I carry, and I appreciate the church's position. Pastor Bro is glad that there are armed people in the congregation. Feels good.png. He also mentions that the police officers there on Sundays would appreciate knowing that there are lawful concealed carriers there with them. I guess in case something goes down. Think of Philando Castile, nervous about saying something wrong that would make conversation less than perfectly civil. Feels not as good.tiff. Couple Sundays later, 2 officers near the door to the kids area. They're there mostly to protect the children. Walk up to them, explain what the pastor said, etc. They're both clearly surprised and are slightly awkward in responding. Clearly haven't had this conversation many times before. Cool, man. That's your right. We don't need to check you or anything. Thanks for letting us know. Thank them for their service to our church. Shake their hands. Go on with my day. It feels silly that I was so nervous in retrospect. It's nice that we still have civil interactions, despite the stuff on the news.
So here's a little background. My grandpa grew up in the 30s and 40s, served 2 tours in the Korean War on a light aircraft carrier, then was a cop in Burbank, California for 8 years, then became a college professor teaching the brand new subject of criminal justice for like forever until he retired in 1995. Also, during his time as professor, he was a moderator for the Department of Justice, which meant he went to cities and towns on the edge of rioting and tried to settle things between the people and the police. He went to like 40 different towns and settled all of them. Some of his stories may be hard to believe, but I've double-checked all of them, and they all check out. He always reminds me that sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. Be grandpa, be patrolling the south side of town. See guys speeding like 50 in a 35. Here we go, .jpg, going down a main street. Sudden left turn is very sudden. Realize I either hit and kill this guy or make an early left turn into a building. Fuck it, buildings are soft, right? It's a church. It's choir practice. I go right through the front door and get stuck in a second entryway into the actual chapel. I come roaring into the church lights and sirens on. Pastor comes over and blesses my car with holy water. Have to be towed out of the church since LOL door in the way of the door. All in all, a good day. Another from Korea. Be grandpa. Be on a light carrier in nowhere Pacific Ocean. Be on catapult crew so Greece, motherfucking Greece. One day changing guide wheels at ends of catapult. Lieutenant commander so only 2 guys allowed to work on it at a time. Wheel being difficult, don't want to move. Out of the corner of his eye, he sees one of the CPOs watching him. Hey chief, want to give us a hand? Hands reach down and help. Wheel is replaced. Looks up to thank chief. It's the ship's captain. He asks why no one else was helping. Now at least 3 people assigned to it. Everything went better than expected. .jpg. Be grandpa. Be working Valley District. See stolen car and give chase. Guy ends up behind a gas station next to Universal Studios on the hill. No portable radios, LL, only car radios. Radio for backup, location, all that jazz. Get Guy cornered at gunpoint, waiting for backup so I can put cuffs on this guy. Suddenly a hand comes up from behind me and pushes my gun down. Free hand and punch towards my back, spinning around in the process. Finally see who pushed my gun down. It's my sergeant. Stopped my punch and returned to business. My face when I almost shot my sergeant. Everything went better than what could have been .png. This situation happened to him 2 other times, but with one of his lieutenants and another patrolman. Be Grandpa. Be working patrol in the southern section of town. Been having a string of robberies lately. Scanning rooftops looking for people of bad intent. See guy trying to break into a store below him. Call the fire department. .jpg. Second and only other officer on patrol arrives. Go up on the roof to talk to person of bad intent. Person sees me, starts running down a block of adjoined rooftops. Here we go again. .jpg. Chase guy until he disappears from view. Continue to spot. He disappeared. It's the end of the block. I land on top of this guy. I still shatter my ankle. This pretty well ended my grandpa's Leo career. He was told he'd never walk again, but a few years later, he was like, "Fuck you, doctors, I can walk without a cane, without a..."
On patrol around town. Go by an alleyway and see teenagers chilling by a dumpster. Instantly profile. Sorry, it's a cop thing. Park car and walk up to group. Teenagers all white-faced as I come into the alley, smell pot smoke in the air. Me. All right. Who had the weed? One kid sheepishly hands me a joint. I put the joint in a plastic baggie. Kids, you are way too young to have your life this screwed up. Me. I will make a deal with you better than anyone else. You turn over the weed to me so I can destroy it, and you get to go home. Now with this, I want a promise from all of you. You will never touch drugs again, and you will promise to be the best you can be. I let the kids go. I destroy the pot. I cut these kids a massive break. And that was 5 years ago. Be at the station. A young kid walks in. The kid I busted with the joint is off to Stanford on a scholarship by following my break. I didn't do the right thing, but the good thing. Letting some kid go came back as the most positive thing I've ever done.
Be a cop. Respond to call of shots fired in a wooded area. This wooded area is just about the last bit of undeveloped land in the county. Live in an area that does not allow for shooting out in the open. Set up around the woods. Helicopter flying overhead, telling us what they see. Suspects in a truck headed towards me. See truck coming. Felony stop. 2 in custody. Both young males. Both wanted to go shooting at a nearby range, but it was too busy. Bought ammo and went into nearby woods to shoot at trees. Saw a helicopter circling and got spooked. Find a newish AR-15 in truck. The passenger just bought it a week ago. Take gun as evidence. Issue NTA to both for unlawful discharge of a weapon and send them on their way. Weeks later, gun owner calls me up and asks if he can have his rifle back. Pull up case notes from the county computer. Both pled out. Judge notated weapon forfeit as a condition of a lesser sentence. Tell rifle owner he's SOL. Months later, agency issues me an AR. Looks different than the other ones being issued. Looks familiar. Ask armorer what's up with my gun. We got it for cheap from property and evidence. It's functionally fine. Don't worry about it. Check serial number against my report. Same AR. Keck to myself. Carried that rifle for over a year until I bought my own.
Be in a small town in East Texas. Usually carry my gun. Outside the waistband with a shirt or a jacket over it, depending on the weather. Unusually cold morning, so I wear a jacket over my gun. Finish up with work early, so I head out and decide to grab a burger in town. Hot, so I take my jacket off. People often open carry and no one really gives a shit since it's a very small town. Waiting at the stoplight across the parking garage to walk to the diner, and a pony patrol rolls up to me. Waits for the light to change with me, and I can tell that he's glancing over at my gun. Try my best to contain my autism and not pet the police horse, since I have a habit of touching animals. Policeman asks if it's a SIG on my belt. I nod and tell him it's a MK25. Guy goes full autismo on how his department didn't approve his SIG because the sheriff is a huge asshole and wanted everyone to get M and Ps. Talk to him for a good while and grab a burger and talk about guns. Gotta pet his horse and go home and pet my own horse later. Ran into him at the local range about a week later and occasionally went shooting with him. He's a cool guy but keeps shitposting IRL about how his Legion is the greatest handgun ever concocted.
Be me. Be 13 into airsoft and guns to the extent age allows. Go airsofting with airsoft buds every week on Friday in one of a handful of canyons we've been using for a couple years now. No orange tips. Everybody has Tokyo Marui air shit. All modern tacticool. Sick face masks in winter. Sometimes surplus mill gear and gas masks. One day there's 10 of us, all shooting and hollering at each other. I burst through a bush running away from friends. Gun is P90 with suppressor, see-through mag with fake bullets. Wearing gas mask and black tactile neck and cargo pants. Mags. Fake grenades on me. Drop that fucking weapon right now. Laugh and turn and stop laughing. Cop as short as me holding out a Glock like he was afraid of the kick. Drop my gun, yell through the mask it's airsoft and I'm 13. The second kid stumbles through bushes with G3 air shit and gas mask, points and shoots me in the back with a good spread. Drop that fucking gun right now. Hands up. I have my hands up already. Scream at Greg to drop his gun. Greg jumps into bushes and cop fires into bushes twice. Ears are ringing. Rip off the mask and yell at cop that guns are plastic, and it's a game. Points gun back at me. Asks about my mask, grenade, and says more police are on the way. Alec and Alex burst through bushes while I'm yelling not to shoot them. They have their guns pointed down, see cop and drop guns and hands up. 6 more kids come out of bushes with hands up moments later. I'm crying. Ask if I can go look for Greg. Think he's shot somewhere dying in the canyon. Cop says no. 1 more cop arrives, cops are having a discussion, and I blurt out, "It's a fucking game, he shot my friend Greg." Second cop walks over and tells me to shut up and don't speak to an officer like that. Inspects guns. Visibly upset at other cop and us. "Why are you wearing fake bombs and masks, son?" "We got a call there were thugs in canyon armed." Calls more cops, helicopter and ambulance to search for Greg. Sit for a couple hours in cuffs before we are taken home. Dad is pissed at the cop. Dad is a lawyer and tells cop that if they shot Greg, their career and life dreams all over. Dad calls county council to see what the fuck is going on. Go upstairs, friends probably on WoW by now. Want to talk about what just happened. Log on, Greg's tune is logged on. Hit him up, turns out he just booked it through the bushes because he thought it was just air shit until the cop shot at him. Then he kept running and ran all the way home in tac air shit gear. Friends and I have a good giggle. Cop who shot at Greg gets fired from the force. Was not really worth it though. No more airsoft in those canyons after that.
Be shooting starlings because huge pest in my area. About 250-acre lot of plains with woods and a creek running through. About an hour in and see the dust rising from the road. 4 sheriff's deputies in full gear. vests, helmets, etc., pull up. Leave gun out by crick because I'm not going to approach a trigger-happy cop with a loaded firearm. Me and my buddy are walking out to meet them. It's a decent walk from the crick to the road, about quarter mile. His pickup was parked inside the property. We don't lock it because rural Kansas, and nothing but Christian farmers. We can tell that they are tearing through the truck. Pick up the pace. We arrive, and immediately we are held at gunpoint by about 7 officers with ARs. We have to lay down in the mud. After about an hour of this, they turn us loose. They drove one of their Ford Explorers out into the field. The water table is around an inch above the ground on the entire first about 300 yards of the property. They are dug axle deep, and their street tires didn't help either. Another Ford comes to tear the other one out. Rinse, lather, repeat. There is a total of 6 Fords stuck now. After sufficiently laughing our asses off, we go ahead and pull them out. It was dusk by the end of the circus, so we wrapped up and went home.
Be me. Ride along with local police because looking into a law enforcement career. Officer I'm riding with is bro-tier nice guy. Doesn't like cutting tickets, let several people off easy throughout the night. People I would have cited without hesitation. Doesn't seem like he would hurt a fly. Our numbers come across comms for a Code 1 dispute, not a huge emergency. Apparently, a couple of neighbors were arguing because neighbor number 1's dog was barking and neighbor 2 was trying to sleep. It was about midnight. Neighbor 2 goes over to confront neighbor number 1 and tell him to shut his dog up. Neighbor 1 answers the door with a handgun. Get the fuck off my property. Neighbor 2 goes back home, calls police. Here's where we come in. Stop about a block away from address, just down the street to wait for second car. All domestics are a mandatory 2-car, and we're already on edge because a gun was involved. We approached the house, figuring everything had cooled down at this point. Apparently not. Neighbor 1 is still angry, basically tells us to fuck off because the dog isn't barking anymore, and he didn't threaten neighbor 2, so technically he hasn't broken any law. Bro-cop shrugs. Okay, have a nice night. And we start to leave. Walking down the front pathway when suddenly, boom, 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 pop, pop, everyone hitting the fucking dirt. Bro-cop is yanking his gun and simultaneously going for his radio. 228! Shots fired! Shots fired! Bright lights in the sky. Look up. Fucking fireworks. Came from a block away, completely unrelated to this call. Just bad timing, I guess. Disregard. We patrolled that neighborhood for 45 minutes looking for that dickhead that made us run like chickens. Never found him.
Last year, 28 now. This was for allegedly posting something allegedly on the internet, allegedly. Be looking outside, live at home with parents, 2 civilian cars pull up to the front of the house, 2 guys get out with clipboards. Call mom, tell her to stay on the line. Asian guy flashes badge. See big star, think it's the US Marshals. Freak out. Realize Secret Service. Laugh internally. Ask if they are going to do a full cavity search on me. Say, I respect the fact that you are doing your job, but I am going to exercise my right to remain silent and demand to talk to a lawyer. Hand them the phone and say, here is the homeowner. They ask me questions, just smile, shrug, and refuse to answer anything. They leave. Parents get lawyer. Lawyer talks to them on the phone. Another agent shows up at my house a few days later. Talks to me for a bit with my lawyer present. I refuse to admit to anything but say that if I had done the things they were accusing me, that I would not have meant it. We know you did it. They turned you in. They have a warrant to search my room. Ask if I can turn off my monitor first. Demands to watch me turn off my monitor. Asks what sculpey thing is in my room. Explain that I am an artist animator and this is a maquette. Try to explain the animation creation process. Blank stare. We all go downstairs. Agent gets kinda grumpy. Tells me I need to start turning my life around and fly right. Agent leaves. Post about this horrible incident on the internet. I honestly don't know what that was all about. I would never have said anything that would have made the Secret Service show up at my door.
Town cops in my area have fuck all to do, so occasionally you'll find the dipshit driving home from work at 3 a.m. Highways get weird in this area, so I need to go through a small town. See headlights on my ass. Town cop hits me with his lights. Pull over. Get license, registration, and proof of insurance ready. Cop saunters up to my window. Tells me I was doing 40 and a 25. Think. Well, I normally cruise at 35 through this town, but you were sitting on an S-curve and I know I didn't squeal through that doing 40, but let the cop keep talking. Asks me where I was coming from and where I was going. Asks me if I have anything I'm not supposed to. Asks me again if I have anything illegal in my vehicle. Prepares to drop idiocy on me. I'm going to tell you the truth. I smell marijuana. What? Don't smoke. Don't let friends hold when I'm driving. No visible indication that there would be illegal substances in my vehicle. Want to ask how much money the department saves on a K-9 unit by employing him? Bite tongue instead. I want to search your vehicle. You want me to surrender one of my rights as a U.S. citizen? Again, bite tongue. Do I have your permission to search your vehicle? It's too late, and I'm too hungry for this bullshit. He's been awkward and standoffish, so I figure I'll eat over $100 speeding and failure to obey citation if I don't let this fool waste our time. I watch as he bumbles through my vehicle, doesn't check glove box or trunk, doesn't ask to search my person. Well, I'm not often wrong. Yeah, sure, buddy, still biting tongue. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. You have a good night. No eye contact, no handshake. I told the story to my dad, retired state police. He said that the day before it happened, the state Supreme Court had ruled that police no longer required a warrant to search a vehicle if they have probable cause. He figured this guy was just being a dick testing the water.
Be 18-year-old me. Live in People's Republic of California. Driving around one night. Went shooting with my 8mm 06 drinking natural ice and putting holes in whatever because girlfriend cheated on me. Had pupper with me. Blue lights flashing. Ah, fuck. Pull the car over. Think to myself, I'm so fucked, I'm drunk and I have a gun in my car, I'm gonna go to jail. Cop walks up to the passenger window. Doggo starts growling. Roll down the driver window because LOL manual windows. He shines light on the back seat area and sees my rifle. Why is there a rifle in your back seat? Tell him I went shooting. This late at night? Tell him I had an awful day and just wanted to let off some steam. License and registration, please. He walks to his car, comes back with license and registration in hand. Asks why my night was so awful. Tell him. He nods and says he'll let me off with a warning. Drive home and finish 12-pack.
2 a.m. Have a job that requires driving a company vehicle in Houston. See Houston Police Department car pull past me on Interstate 10, the driver's left foot hanging out the window. Leg and foot bare and full of jailhouse tattoos. Decide to call 911. None of the dispatchers know what to make of it. Hear supervisor shout that some cop got his ride jacked while he ran into a gas station for a piss with everything open and running. Get to the exit for the Beltway, telling dispatch where he is. Solid fucking wall of cops barricading the highway and exit. Can't see the driver now, but start seeing lots of white powder flying from the side of the vehicle. I'm not going anywhere either, so I slow to a stop. Stolen B&W slams on brakes and shoots past me. Side of squad car completely caked in white powder. Unmarked 50s that presumably got on the highway at the passed on-ramp hit their takedown lights and surround him. I'm treated to a live episode of Cops.
Be me. Be 19. In a car with QT teenage girlfriend. Rifles in trunk because spent day shooting. 3 a.m. eating Arby's because it's 3 a.m. and it's Arby's. Police roll up on us. Excuse me, what are you two doing? Eating Arby's. Cop spends 30 minutes haranguing us for being in a public parking lot and eating food because we've had a lot of break-ins around here, as if this has anything to do with us. Cop asks if he can search the car. Let him, because I know what I'm doing is perfectly legal, and I want this idiot to see what a law-abiding citizen looks like. Finds rifles. Immediately calls for backup with terror in his voice. 5 cops show up and harangue me about having rifles, having a girlfriend, eating food. One of them tells me that he'd kill me and throw me in a ditch if he found someone like me eating food with his daughter. Cops eventually leave because they can't find anything to charge me with. One cop says to the others, "I don't know why we did this," as they're all getting back in their cars. Protect and serve.
Keep in mind, this is a town of 300 people with its own court and legal processing, so fighting tickets or disobeying is useless. Happened late winter in 15-degree weather. Doing 24 and a 25, notorious school zone speed trap, so being extra careful to not even bump 25. Pass cop at his normal spot. Woo whoop. "Son, do you know how fast you were going?" 24, sir. Figured you'd be here waiting on some idiot to fly through. And here you are. Step out for me. We need to do some sobriety tests. Had on a t-shirt and basketball shorts. Step out of vehicle, lock it, step away. We run through every field test known to man. Flashlight, stand and count to 100, touch your nose. ABCs backwards, hokey pokey, everything. I need to search your vehicle. Hand me a warrant, and it's all yours. You disrespecting me, boy? Not at all, you just need a warrant. I'm calling the dogs. Wait on side of road shivering and chattering while K9 unit responds. Guy walks the dog around the truck twice. Dog sits down and remains absolutely silent. K9 officer touches my rear bumper and goes, "Oof," and dog loses his fucking mind. Well, Mr. Smartass, looks like I'm searching this truck. 2 cops are now taking everything out of my truck, all the way down to the box my subwoofers were in. They find nothing and decide they've fucked with me enough, so they let me go. I spend the next 45 minutes trying not to freeze to death while picking up all of my shit and making sure they didn't steal anything. Sure, cops are awesome. Thank God we have cops.
Be SWAT. Playing the vidya with fellow officers. Dispatch gets a call about a high-risk warrant in the middle of a modern warfare match. Whelp, duty calls. Gear up. Grab Mossberg 590 and Glorious SIG P226. Tactically enter back of ARV. Speed off into the sunset. Fellow comrade all of a sudden, driver man, stop. What the fuck? Lieutenant Dan stops the van, out of nowhere, ducks, stroll across the road like they own the place. We're sitting in an armored vehicle with body armor and loaded rifles. My face when ducks just sitting in the road. 2 other cars stop as well. Fellow operator and newly promoted sergeant hops out to begin Operation Featherdance. walks over to the ducks, FNP 90 slung like the cod fan he is, waves his hands around, shooing them off. Fuckers don't blink, picks one up, makes the most annoying noise ever. It's like a screech and a quack. The other ducks fly off, duck in hand, shits on his visor. Oh God, my sides. We're all laughing our asses off through balaclavas as he drops the duck in disgust while the culprit flies off to join his feathery friends. Other car drivers are clearly confuzzled. Buddy re-enters riot truck, cleans his visor and tells us to stay on task. It's all shits and giggles the whole way to our objective. From then on, we called him Sergeant Shitface.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.